302, Mr. Yao.
I move that council certify the closed session just concluded. Nothing was discussed except the matter or matters specifically identified in the motion to convene in closed session and lawfully permitted to be discussed on the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act cited in that motion.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to our October monthly meeting, Town Council. Ms. Swit, would you do the pledge for us, please?
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice.
All right. All right. Consent agenda, Mr. Manager.
Fine and fee schedule, treasurer's reports, and minutes of previous meetings.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we'll go to 701, Public Forum. The public forum is an opportunity for town citizens, visitors, and groups to speak or bring to our attention any town government-related issues. Please state your name for the records and your residence. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Groups are requested to have spokesperson. Would anyone like to speak at this time? Come on up, ma'am.
Mayor Reeves, council members, good evening. My name is Jackie Kaiser, and I live at 602 Southeast Street, which corners East Chandler Street. I'm speaking here tonight because I have a problem that I hope you can help me with concerning the recent developments of the data center scheduled for East Chandler Street. My husband and I were not notified of this data center request, nor were any of our neighbors on Southeast Street. Most folks on Southeast Street no longer get the star exponent, if there was anything about that prior. We don't. It's only delivered 3 days a week, and I don't do tablets, so. I have several major concerns directly related to this data center and its proximity to our historic neighborhood. One of which is, and most importantly, the 24/7 decibel of noise which we will be exposed to and will disrupt our quality of life. The ramifications of that will be devastating, not just to us and our everyday life, but directly to the town of Culpeper, especially tourism. We have worked very hard as a neighborhood, and Rich and I as individuals as well, to preserve the historic importance of Culpeper. We care a lot about that, and the quality of life that we have here. For example, starting within 1992, we started one of the first viable neighborhood watches here in Culpeper. Working and volunteering with our Main Street program, something is to my heart. Watching and working in securing the designation of our neighborhood for the Register of Historic Homes, the National Register of Historic Homes. We also worked with the Main Street program Renaissance to clean up the downtown. That's something that we were all involved in and promoted. with our Neighborhood Watch and other venues. We also worked on saving the Reams House, which is now there, did not get razed, did not get taken down. And the brick building, some people know as the Creamery. We worked to save that. That was going to be taken down. And on, I could go on and on. But all of these things only to be usurped by a project that totally degrades our quality of life. My grandson works at Amazon, the Amazon data center in Manassas, where he told me neighbors have staged frequent protests. And I'm going to give you just one of the articles that I found online, and tells you about where it's from, and these are some of the people protesting. I would like for all of you to take a moment to just look at that. This, to me, is a problem. This is a big problem. There are several other issues: ambient light at night, buildings that I will be able to see from my house, some of them at 65 feet tall, because the data centers plan to have such tall buildings. And there are other issues. I am earnestly asking you to reconsider this motion about this data center. I'm asking you urgently about this plan for this data center. I want your help with my and our problem. I thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up. Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Rich Kaiser, and I live on Southeast Street in Culpeper. And I also would like to have you revisit this issue of the data center. I'm taking a different approach. I'm a veteran, and I feel that we are somewhat dishonoring our national cemetery, which we're entrusted with, that we are violating the sanctity of it with the creation of this data center. It's not because visibly it will be unattractive. It's going to be huge and tall and overshadow the cemetery, but maybe we can disguise it as a great big fir tree and we won't see it. But the noise that this data center is going to generate will give the National Cemetery no rest. As a noise continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never stops. Not only does it affect the resident, us as residents, but it also affects that cemetery. There are people there that go to honor the folks in our armed services who work to protect the cemetery, and they will go there to an intolerable noise that never quits. Ceremonies we have on Veterans Day and Memorial Day will be overshadowed by this noise. For some reason, you all have neglected to address this noise. I talked to Mrs. Lynette Parker, the director of the cemetery, and she said she was very surprised to hear that data centers create noise. And it is that noise which is protested by people after the data center is built, not before it is built, saying, oh, we think it's going to cause noise. They protest it afterwards because they find that they cannot tolerate the noise that those data centers produce. And I think that we are violating the sanctity of our national cemetery, again, that we're entrusted taken care of. And like I said, Mrs. Parker said that she hadn't heard that data centers produce noise. She knew that there was going to be noise during the construction phase of it, and she had contingency plans for that. But she was not told in any way by anyone that this was going, to be a problem. And she did want to come to the meeting when they had it, but apparently she's new in Culpeper, and she couldn't find this building. And so she missed the meeting. That's too bad, just like we all missed the meeting because our paper has become somewhat of a phantom. And to find notices of this meeting is difficult. And so I would just like to say that I would like you all to reconsider allowing this data center in the area of the National Cemetery. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, anyone else?
Hi there, my name is Rice Sumner Wagner, and I live at 109 East Asher Street here in Culpeper. And I know a number of you on the council, and I would have to say to you, I have a great deal of respect for the work you do. I've talked to many of you about different issues in town. But on this particular issue, I truly feel betrayed by the council. And the reason is that, and it's been mentioned, and it drives me crazy, that we were not notified of what was happening in a clear manner so that we could try to be here to discuss this at your last vote. It smacks of the idea of money before your constituents and their concerns. And I ask that you consider a motion to reconsider your vote so as to give us the time and the ability to sit down with you and discuss our real concerns. Something that is happening here in Culpeper that I find alarming is that it seems as if we are looking for money rather than we are looking for the kind of community that so many of us are here to have and to support and that we believe in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, come on up.
I'm going to start my timer so that I stay on topic. Mr. Mayor and members of council, hello, my name is Brent Amos. I've been a resident of South East Street at 801 since 2020. I'm asking to speak for myself and Trevor Langren, who lives at 1005. My wife and I moved here in hopes of setting up deep roots in this community. I'm a licensed architect in the Commonwealth of Virginia. To become an architect, one must take numerous tests, including sections on city and community planning, as well as mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering. I work on buildings with critical infrastructure not dissimilar to data centers, including medical research facilities and biopharma R&D and manufacturing. As such, I understand the impact of mission-critical buildings on their environment and their communities. It is my professional opinion that approving the data center at map 41-103 and 41-104 located off of East Chandler Street is a poor land use that will have numerous adverse consequences for the town, the cemetery, adjacent residential dwellings, as well as the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Data centers produce sound, light, air, and water pollution, the two that will be most impactful on the community and our daily lives will be the sound and light pollution. I would like the opportunity to present in detail a lot of data on this information and Councilman Yao has been kind enough to say that, you guys would be interested in having a discussion. In addition to the pollution, a data center will likely cause economic hardships on the people of the community. They have the potential to increase utility bills based on the demand. They also lead to fees and taxes by utility companies and communities for infrastructure improvements and upgrades to meet the data center's needs. I am disappointed that the residents of East Street weren't consulted by the town or given our proximity to the site. I'm also disappointed that the council and zoning board didn't think that the development would have any adverse impacts on our community. 705, 801, 805, 809, and 901 all back the development. We believe, based on Virginia Code 15.2-2204, at the very least, these residents should have been notified of the intent to develop given our adjacency. All are against the proposed approval. I've spoken to every one of them. Of those listed above, only one resident was aware of it, and they are the owner of a business downtown. And they told me that they were approached to get their opinions, and they told council that they were against it. In addition to those directly behind the proposed development, all of our community members represented here are against this development. Section 27-62, Industrial District M2 zoning in the Code of Culpeper clearly states that an M2 use is not compatible with residential. I am disappointed the zoning regulation were disregarded in this manner. Furthermore, the noise ordinance exists per Chapter 13, Section 13.1, as stated below. The council finds the need, if I got to hurry that up, then documents submitted to you all have been incorrect in the assumptions. East Street was not considered in the filing of the determination. It will hurt our tourism. It will lower residential property values throughout the town. It will have sound, light, air, and water pollution. It will harm the cemetery. It will increase utility costs. We have one chance to get this right. Therefore, I'm here to ask council to make a motion to reconsider the rezoning of the aforementioned site utilizing Robert's Rule of Order before the decisions made on September 12th becomes final zoning on October 12th. By repealing the previous ruling, the parties affected can present the appropriate level of discourse. And if the council is so certain that the right land use is being used, what's the harm in waiting one more month so we can have the discourse that this deserves? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing at this time. All right. 9.01, public hearing on proposed fiscal year 2024 budget amendment. How?
There's two motions out of closed session.
That's right, that's right. Excuse me. 801, Mr. Yao.
I move that council direct the town manager to negotiate and execute a contract for purchase of the real property discussed during the closed session and authorize a transfer of up to $675,000 from general fund reserves to general fund capital project number 09162 to facilitate the purchase.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Also, I move that council authorize the town manager to negotiate electric service agreements and/or release the town's right to serve prospective electric utility customers with a power load of at least 5 megawatts to Dominion Energy and/or Rappahannock Electric Cooperative within the McDivitt Drive Technology Zone and as discussed during closed session.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we go to 9.01, public hearing on proposed fiscal year 2024 budget amendment. Had.
Good evening. Tonight's public hearing relates to the proposed amendment to the fiscal year 2024 town budget in the amount of $17,305,985. The public hearing was advertised on October 3rd, 2023, in accordance with Virginia Code Section 15.2-2507. The proposed amendment represents a 28.4% increase in the current year budget and is primarily related to general fund capital project for road improvements as well as the downtown parking and railroad bridge projects, together totaling over $7 million, and the wastewater improvement project of approximately $7 million. These funds also relate to various equipment on order and not delivered, and other ongoing projects that were not completed before the end of the prior fiscal year. All of these funds were approved by council in prior fiscal years and are requested to be carried forward to the current fiscal year to be available for payment as equipment is delivered and projects are completed.
Any questions? No? Thank you. At this time, I'm opening the floor for public hearing. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to speak on this item? No one? Close public hearing at this time. 9.01A, RR reference FY '24 budget amendment relating to FY '23 carryover. Hat.
As stated, prior year projects and financial commitments for equipment that were not completed prior to June 30th, 2023 are requested to be carried forward to the 2024 budget year. The financial impact will be that the fiscal year 2024 budget will increase by a total of $17,305,985. The recommendation is that council authorizes the town manager and the town treasurer to make the fiscal year 2024 budget amendments for these carryovers totaling that amount.
Mr. Mayor, I move the recommendation.
Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Jamie seconded.
Huh?
You had to wait for your second.
I thought you seconded.
Councilmember Clancy?
What is wrong with me?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
9.02A, submission of quarter reports. Any questions from the committee? No questions? All right, let's go to 9.03A1, RR reference town initiated zoning orders amendment relating to Architectural Review Board, ARB. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a chance to discuss this at committee last month, but this is a request coming from the Architectural Review Board, and the recommendation is that council resolves to initiate a zoning ordinance amendment to add a section 27-352I2 that stipulates that previously denied requests cannot come back to the Architectural Review Board for approval for a period of 1 year unless the request has been substantially amended, and further to amend section 27-352H1 to stipulate that a certificate of finding shall be null and void if the approved work is not commenced within 2 years or if work on the project is abandoned for 2 years. I'd be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Andrew. Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Kalanga?
Aye.
Mayor Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Schmidt?
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Yao?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy? Aye. Motion carries.
10.01, monthly report. Is any questions or comments from the board? No one? Does anyone have anything else? No? If not, we are adjourned. Why you let me do that?